How's it going, everybody? Today we got console wars are pretty dumb, or really dumb. Now, in my opinion, yeah, they're pretty dumb. Mainly because just enjoy your console. You could be a Nintendo fan, you could be an Xbox fan, you could be a PlayStation guy. It doesn't matter. Enjoy your game. Life's too short to argue about that. Now, I will say, I personally, if someone came up to me and said my console's trash, I'd be like, okay, no, it's not. But I'm not going to say yours is trash. Mine's not trash. I love my console. But I wouldn't say that's really arguing about console wars. I think that's just a thing that's just like defending your console. But if you guys do enjoy the video and this content, subscribe, leave a like, and let's get straight into the video.
Consoles. We've all had a console at some point in our lives, and I'm sure a lot of people watching this video had a Wii growing up because it looked fun, easy to play. Even your parents wanted to whoop Matt's ass in Wii. And at the family functions when I was playing Mario Kart, even my Uncle Billy wanted a turn. I mean, he was driving into the wall and got last, but hey, he was trying. That's all that matters. And to be totally honest with you, I never had an Xbox 360 or a PS3. I'm sure some of you are going to be surprised by that, but my parents did not want me to get an Xbox because of Call of Duty, GTA, or any other violent game. So the fact that people grew up with different consoles, that's what started a console war. Now, everybody wants to know, like, which console truly is the best, and honestly there is no answer, and I'm sure somebody has butted into a conversation.
And also, it's like, it's everyone's preference, what games are going to be on that specific console that you enjoy more. For me, the reason why I love PlayStation is because one, the controller that I have, it has the sticks on the exact same position, not one over here and one over here. I like that they're both level. I like the look of it, first of all, because it's just a nice looking controller. It's got haptic feedback, but it's got Spider-Man. I love Spider-Man and those games on, PS4. Now, you can argue that, yes, it's on Steam right now, but it released on, the PS4 and the PS5. Beautiful games. I love those games, and that is one of the clear reasons of why. Is it PS5 exclusives are some of the best reasons why the PS5 might be better than the Xbox. They both have better qualities. I think that PS5 exclusives are some of the best exclusives overall.
Like this before and was like,
one last thing. Also, Nintendo has pretty good exclusives too, so that's another thing.
I tried PC. It has a lot better specs than the...
Like, shut the fuck up, bro. We're not trying to listen to that.
My God, he like raged. Okay. Coming from someone that has a PS5, a PS4, a PS3, a Nintendo Switch, a Nintendo Switch 2, and a PC. A PC is okay, but it has a lot of issues. It's a lot harder to start games. You have to download Steam, and then you have to pay for it, and then you have to download it, and then you have all of that. Just go on a PlayStation, buy it, play it, done. It's a lot of issues. You got to set it up, you got to build it, you got to, put a bunch of passwords in, you got to log in. It's simpler with getting a console than a computer. Now, a computer is really nice because instead of having, every year console where you're like, oh, I got to buy this one, and then a couple years I got to buy the next one, you can just replace parts of a computer that you might need to replace, and it lasts sometimes a lifetime. So that's one of the best things about a PC. Are they really expensive? Yes, but they're worth it.
But at the end of the day, there is no true answer to which console is the best because it doesn't matter. Nobody cares. Like, why the fuck is there even a console wars in the first place? There is no superior console in the first place. You just play what you play. I don't know. It's crazy to me that people actually have beef with each other over what consoles they pick. And a lot of people are just going to pick one console because they're all expensive as hell, bro. So a lot of people aren't going to buy all of them. So for that reason, they stick with one console. But how did console wars start? I'm sure some of you might be wondering. Well, it was a thing for a while. Back in like the 80s and 90s, Sega and Nintendo were going at it. Nintendo and Sega had majority of the market share when it came to like consoles and things like that. Nintendo came out with the Super Nintendo, and Sega came out with the Sega Genesis. And at that point, Sega was outperforming Nintendo, which led to people on having a stance on Sega being better than Nintendo. But again, some people took that shit way way too seriously. There was beef going on between game.
I honestly don't know how there was beef, and I think, well, I don't know how there was, and one, I know how it got solved, and they were just like, you know what? Let's make Olympics. And it was one of the best games through Nintendo and Sega. It was pretty good.
Gamers alike deciding which console they thought was better. And there were some people just absolutely meat riding Nintendo and Sega. And some people would have a whole essay of an explanation on why whatever console was better than the other. But I feel like a lot of the time it's mainly like Nintendo fans that are like, leave Nintendo alone. They're acting like they're about to get free games if they protect Nintendo with knight in shining armor. Like, okay, little bro, it's just a console. It's not that serious. But when it comes to Nintendo glazers, okay, like some people just don't like Nintendo as a corporation. Like,
I mean, like, I understand why you might not like Nintendo fans because they're glazers. I'm not one of those people that glazes it. The games, stupid expensive. They should not be that expensive. The console, fairly priced, but I still got it and I love it. I don't regret my decision, but I would say a PS5 is better. But it's not as, it's the reason why Nintendo is so much better in some ways is because it's portable. You know, you can just take it and go out your day. They have 3DSs. It fits in your pocket like a phone. Take it out, fold it out, and you have a whole gaming system. It's awesome.
Like, they literally sue anybody for anything. It could just be as simple as making a fan game or using a mod in one of their games. They will be rushing to sue them. And some people believe that Nintendo overcharges for their games. And that's why people don't really like Nintendo as a company. And you know what? That's fine if you don't like them as a company. But yeah, when people hate on Nintendo, some people will get so butthurt, it's ridiculous. And some people with Sega were the same way back when Sega was competing. But in 2001, after the release of the Dreamcast, Sega just could not compete anymore. PlayStation was starting to rise up, alright? The PS2 came out in March 2000, and the original Xbox came out in 2001. So obviously one of the companies was bound to lose market share, and it happened to be Sega. And I guess the reason for this, some people say it's marketing issues, some people say like they're...
Dude, what was even that controller on the Dreamcast? It was like a big, huge controller with a screen on it. Really, Sega? Really? What was your thought process with that? I'm sure a lot of people have loved their Dreamcast. I don't hear a lot of hype with Dreamcast, to be honest. I don't hear like, oh yeah, my memories are so amazing on the Sega Dreamcast. I don't hear that. I don't hear that at all. I hear 3DS, I hear Wii, I hear the PlayStation Vita, I hear Xbox One, Xbox 360, PlayStation 4, you know.
There was issues
PS4. I don't know why I said PlayStation 4.
The console itself. I don't really know. I wasn't even born yet when the Xbox came out. My first Xbox console was an Xbox One. When I was in like 6th or 7th grade, I got an Xbox One. And I was happy because all my friends had an Xbox and I wanted to join in, all right? I wanted to join in on these legendary Xbox parties they were talking about. And the only reason why I chose Xbox is because all my friends had Xbox. Like, there was...
That's another thing. Like, people, when they have those consoles, they might not even like the console itself. They just like it because all their friends have it. I really hope no one like has purchased a console because their friends got it and then ending up not liking it. That would just, that would suck.
No other reason, I chose Xbox over the PS4. And sometimes I would go to my friend's house and, I'd play on their PS4 compared to the Xbox One. And there wasn't a difference. Besides, obviously, like the buttons and the feel of the controller, there was nothing that set it apart from the Xbox. Well, also besides the fact that the PS4 sounded like a jet engine when it was running. But seriously, I don't know why they were so loud, bro. Like, imagine trying to sneak play the PS4 at night when your parents are trying to sleep and then they just hear that loud-ass jet engine. Yeah, your ass is getting...
Luckily, mine was in the basement, so I didn't have to.
We're talking about Xbox One being superior or PS4 being superior. You were bickering about absolutely nothing. There's no difference, really. I mean, if you prefer the PS5 or the Xbox Series X, that's fine. Some people don't really like the feel of the PS4 controller, or they were playing Xbox their entire life, whatever the case may be. But there's no reason to shit on somebody because they decided to get a PS5. But if they got a PS5 Pro, please bully the shit out of... Okay, I'm just kidding.
I've never seen a PS5 Pro in person, other than at the store. If that tells you that no one buys the PS5 Pro, That's just telling you. It's crazy.
But seriously though, who is paying $700 for a console with barely any upgrades? I'm pretty sure most people would agree with me on that one. But hey, if you really want a PS5 Pro, I guess you do you. Some people don't even want an Xbox or a PlayStation. They just prefer Nintendo. Honestly, whenever I'm playing solo games, yes, I absolutely prefer Nintendo. But whenever I'm playing multiplayer, nah, bro, we getting in that PS5 party. We gotta lock in real quick. Well, I used to have an Xbox One, but now I have a PS5. I seriously don't know what prompted me to buy the PS5, but I have it now, I guess. But still, bro, I can't sleep on the Nintendo games, bro. Like, they're just too goated. You got Mario, Pokemon, Kirby, Animal Crossing, you name it, bro. Like, they're just all goated. In the Nintendo eShop, I would just find random-ass games that I didn't even know I was looking for. On my DS and 3DS, I was locking in on, like, the most random games. It would be, like, these random games that are, like, $10, and I would always beg my parents to buy them. So of course, when it came to that, I was D1. You know, it felt like there was endless games in this Nintendo eShop. But a huge problem with the DS is it did not have enough storage for me to have all these games on my DS. But according to the hardcore PC users, whatever console you use is absolutely irrelevant. These people like to claim that PC is the master of all these consoles, and PC is great because it has all these specs or whatever. But some people don't like to use mouse and keyboard. Some people want to just play on a controller. I honestly didn't even really like using mouse and keyboard to play games. I still play.
You can use controller if you have a computer. I use mine all the time. I use it wirelessly. You just connect it through Bluetooth and you can play any game you want. And you don't have to worry about it. I don't like using keyboard and mouse with games.
Play games on a controller, even though I have a PC now to make videos. Sometimes I use an Xbox controller. Sometimes I use a PlayStation controller. I don't know, man. It doesn't really matter to me. But that's what I prefer to use to play games. All these neck-bearded Discord mods are going to call me a plebeian because I can't use a keyboard. Like, honestly, I'd rather be good at the game than suck ass because I don't really sweat video games like that anymore. Like, the only time I really play competitive games is when my friends want me to get on. So for me, there's really no use. You know, I'd much rather just stick with what's familiar. But these PC riders always say like, well, the console's locked at a certain frame rate. I don't know the exact frame rate, but it's fine to me, dude. I don't need 300 frames a second when I'm playing a game. All that really matters to me is if the game can run smoothly. I don't care if it's running at the highest FPS of all time. But when it came to the PS5 and the Xbox Series X, there was like a super limited supply of them. So sometimes people would have to wait months to get one of these consoles. That's why I got the PS5 in 2024, bro. Like, I was not getting it early. People were doing the most to try to get a PS5. There were resellers trying to sell it for like $5,000.
I got it like 2 years, no, about a year after in it. They had a bunch. I did have an issue. Here's a little mid-story. Me and my dad, you know, we driving down the road after a movie, I think, and my dad sometimes likes to surprise me with stuff, so he'll splurge a little bit, and you know, we drive up to a Walmart. You know, we're white, so we're going into a Walmart. We you know, we're walking in. We go, hey, my dad goes, he tells me, hey, let's go look at the tech section, and I'm like, so he suggested we go look at the tech section? Oh baby, I'm like sliding my hands together. I'm like plotting in my mind what's gonna happen. Is he gonna give me Legos? Is he gonna give me, you know, some $10 phone case? Who knows? We go up to the tech section. We go up to the PlayStation section, and I'm like, this better be good. Now, I was thinking, you know, sometimes dads like to splurge on games, so maybe he's buying me a game. Now, at this point, I didn't have like a Nintendo. I had a Nintendo Switch, but it had Joy-Con drift. I didn't have any other controllers. I had the PS4 Slim. PS4 Slim. It was okay. It lasted me. And then, you know, my dad's like, "You want to get a PS5?" I'm jumping for joy. I'm not going to scream because it's late at night, but it was so nice. It was so nice. And, you know, he calls the coworker or some like person working there, and they go, "Oh yeah, we'll get someone right over." 5 minutes pass by, 10 minutes pass by, 20 minutes pass by, and we're like, bruh, where are they at? You know, we ask again, can we see a manager? Oh yeah, sorry, we forgot. Are we dead ass? How do you forget, bro? You work there. That's another thing. I went to Target. There's never a single person working at the tech section. I don't understand why. There's no one ever working there. Every single time I've called, no one answers the phone at the tech section. It's not that hard. You have someone at the tech section. Anyways, so we're waiting. We ask the lady again. Oh yeah, we forgot. How do you forget? We go up to customer service and they go, oh yeah, there's no manager on duty. I'm sorry. What? How is there not a manager on duty on an entire superstore? I don't know why I said superstore. It's a store. And we're like, bruh, we're spending my dad actually says this. He goes, it's pretty valid. He goes, we are spending $500 and you can't get us the service of getting a PlayStation? We're giving you $500 and you can't help us out. And I was like, bro, that's so real. If we're giving you $500, you might as well, the least you can do is help us out. So, we waited another 30 minutes for a manager to actually come to the building. He's like mad the entire time. Like, we wasted his time. Bro, we are here to buy a $500 console. We buy the game, we get out of there, and my dad goes, never again. I haven't been in a Walmart in about close to a year. Yeah. That was pretty rough.
And there was also people trying to fight for a PS5 at Walmart. Like, it's a goddamn video game console, and if anything, most of the games that you're playing, you could play them on PS4 anyway. At that point in time, there was really only a few games that were PS5 only. Yet people were so adamant on getting this shit early that they would fight somebody for it. Like, what the fuck? Like, I really didn't think it was that deep. Like, if I really wanted a PS5 and I tried to get one and they were sold out, I would just take the L and move on. I mean, I had a Nintendo Switch at that time anyway. And I could only imagine Black Friday at that point when the PS5 just dropped and the Xbox Series X. Like, I went Black Friday shopping once just to see the chaos unfold, and
I did get a Nintendo Switch on launch. It was pretty cool.
Holy shit. It was chaos, all right. But the year the PS5 dropped, holy shit, it was way worse. It was kind of like that very first iPhone drop where, like, people were waiting in line to get that shit. Okay, a little side tangent. Why do people wait in line to get the new iPhone every year? It's pretty much the same thing.
People wait in line for the new iPhone every year? Are you serious? Dude, I got this for Christmas, and, oh yeah, a little Incineroar in the back. It's like $2, but it doesn't count. It's cool. Yeah, I got it for Christmas, and they didn't have to wait in line. Like, it was easy. Like, I don't understand how. Why would you wait in line for a new phone?
Thing as last year, bro. You're not getting anything new. But in this generation of consoles, the PS5 beat the Xbox in sales. I think it was by a pretty
oh my god.
significant amount too. And a lot of it probably had to do with the fact that PS5 had more exclusive games on it, and they used that as an advantage to market the console to more people. And I really do like a lot of the exclusive games that come with the consoles. And some people are acting like since the Xbox didn't sell as much units that the PS5 is superior and PlayStation absolutely wipes Xbox.
I mean, it kind of does prove it in that point that, like, if it has better exclusives and it sold more consoles, it's the better console at that time.
In quality. Besides, like, the exclusive games and the controls, I really don't see a difference between the consoles. But this whole thing reminds me of, like, the iPhone versus Android craze. It shouldn't really matter what phone you use, what console you use. At the end of the day,
it shouldn't matter unless you go da-da-da-da-da. Yeah, if you hear that, you're cooked.
It does.
If you have a phone in your pocket and you're around like multiple people and the phone goes da 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 da, yeah, you're getting flamed.
The same thing. You get on the virtual game and then you get off the virtual game. So it really isn't that deep at the end of the day. It's all up to personal preference. I personally think all the consoles are great. Well, except the Soulja Boy console. But if you want to watch me complain about something, watch this.
I hope you guys did enjoy the video. I hope you guys liked my side tangent little video or story. But if you guys did enjoy, make sure you leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and as always, have a good one.